Our moderator is Mr. Steve Ayorinde. I'm going to quickly, somebody's happy to have him. I'm going to quickly, yes, a round of applause is good. I'm going to quickly read his bio while he comes up. Thank you, sir. Steve Ayorinde is an accomplished journalist, author, media consultant, and television host. A respected media voice, Steve was editor of The Punch, Nigeria's largest selling newspaper, and also former MD, editor-in-chief of National Mirror newspapers. Please, can I request again that we please use our indoor voices? Please. Please, we're reading people's citations, and we're old enough to respect that. Thank you very much. Between 2015 and 2019, he was appointed into the Cabinet of Lagos State Government, where he served first as the Honorable Minister for Information and Strategy, and later, I beg your pardon, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy, and later Commissioner for Tourism, Art, and Culture. A creative industry player, Steve was on the advisory committee of Bank of Industry's Intervention Fund to filmmakers. He has served on the governing council and jury of the African Movie Academy Awards since 2005, as well as the jury of Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Awards. He was on the panel of judges for the Hip Hop Headies Awards and has served on the International Council of the All Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA, since 2013. A prolific writer and author of several books, Steve has moderated several high-profile events and panel discussions. He is a co-host on Arise News channel's popular The Morning Show, The Weekend Edition. Steve Ayorinde is the moderator for this panel. Next is Dr. Shaibu Husseini. Dr. Shaibu Husseini, Executive Director, National Film and Video Censors Board, is a respected journalist, performing artist, cultural administrator, media scholar, and one of Nigeria's foremost film curators. He is widely regarded as one of the most consistent documentarists on Nollywood and its evolution. He currently serves as the Executive Director of the National Film Video Censors Board, where he leads efforts to regulate and support Nigeria's dynamic film and video industry. Over a career spanning more than 30 years, he has worked across journalism, broadcasting, theater, public relations, and cultural policy. He is editor-at-large of The Guardian newspaper and author of Biodun, the Nollywood Narratives, a definitive monograph on the development of Nigeria's film and video industry. A former pioneer artist and later director of the National Troupe of Nigeria, Dr. Husseini has also served as secretary of the governing board of the National Theatre, National Troupe, and director of dance and music. He has played key roles in cultural administration and policy formulation, both nationally and internationally. He currently serves as the Secretary General of Nigerian chapters of both the Federation of African Film Critics and the International Federation of Film Critics. He is also chairman of the Dance Guild of Nigeria and a pioneer member of the National Dance Company of Nigeria. With a passion for policy, mentorship, and media development, Dr. Shaibu Husseini continues to champion structures that support creativity, accountability, and excellence in Nigeria's growing film and cultural industries. Dr. Shaibu Husseini. We also have Dr. Abiodun Famakinwa. Is he he's not Eduro no, Joe. Yes, it's Famakinwa. Famakinwa, no sense in me. I beg you. Anyway, I've said you can blame me for all the. So, Dr. Abiodun Famuyiwa. All right. Let me quickly find his bio. His career, that's not the beginning. Dr. Abiodun Famakinwa is a distinguished and highly accomplished banking executive with over 3 decades of experience in technology, project management, and strategic leadership. He holds a first-class honors degree in statistics. First-class honors in statistics from the University of Ibadan and an MBA from the University of Lagos. His career at First Bank began in 2001 within the Information Technology Division. He quickly rose through the ranks, demonstrating a talent for leading high-impact projects and teams. He moved to the Products and Channels Division in 2009, where he held several key roles, including Head of Data Mining and Report, Head of Project Management and Automation, and Head of the Money Transfer Department. During his tenure as head of money transfer from 2012 to 2014, his team's transformative changes earned them recognition as the bank's second most customer-centric team. A certified professional with multiple affiliations, Abiodun is a dedicated team player and an effective leader. Outside of his professional life, he enjoys reading inspirational books, learning new things, and is an avid soccer fan. He is married with 3 daughters. Dr. Abiodun O. Famakinwa. We also have Dr. Abiodun Ariyo. A round of applause for him, please. Dr. Abiodun Ariyo is the group head large corporate and structured finance at Providus Bank. With nearly 2 decades of experience across UBA, EcoBank, and First Bank, he has led major trade finance deals across Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. His expertise spans corporate and investment banking, structured trade finance, treasury, and credit risk management. A recognized thought leader, Dr. Ariyo frequently speaks at international trade finance forums and local webinars. He holds a BSc in economics, best graduating student, an MBA, and a PhD in structured trade commodity finance. He is a fellow of the Institute of Credit Administration, a member of CBIN, and an associate of the Institute of Chartered Economists of Nigeria. He is a devoted Christian, married with children. Dr. Abiodun Ariyo. Last, but certainly not the least, and she, I know personally, is Yemisi Falaye. A round of applause for her, please. Let me quickly find her citation. Yemisi Falaye is an entertainment lawyer with 20 years legal experience. She currently works at the Temple Company and heads the legal and business development department of the company. Prior to joining Temple Company, Yemisi headed the entertainment law group of the largest law firm in Nigeria, Denton's ACAS Law. Yemisi has, over the years, garnered in-depth experience in providing premium legal service, advice, and representation to individuals and organizations in the entertainment industries in Nigeria, which include film, music, theater, art, television, radio, publishing, and digital media. Yemisi can proudly boast of working with a large number of clients across the entertainment industry, namely D'banj, etc., 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 etc. She is regarded as one of the most influential entertainment lawyers in Nigeria. Aside entertainment law, Yemisi also has a wide range experience in intellectual property, real estate, immigration, and company secretarial matters in Nigeria. Yemisi Falaye is the head legal and business development, the Temple Company. Yemisi Falaye. Mr. Ayorinde, I hand over to you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sorry, sir. So, Muma time, 1:21. You have 40
You did
minutes.
not time the first
I did,
panel.
sir. I actually did.
No.
I actually did, sir. They just didn't agree. I actually did.
We're in the age of double standards.
No, I don't do double standards. I don't do double standards.
Don't go there.
I shouldn't go there.
All right, so I believe that our time starts now. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Hey, Yemi. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and congratulations to Mighty Media, QED, Mr. Olumide Yoda, for pulling this off. Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Yemi, one thing I didn't ask. I saw that Dr. Famuyiwa came with his water, but I didn't see Dr. Ariyo or the DG or Yemisi with water. Please give them water. Everyone me. Give them water. Because we want to talk money. All right. Thank you so very much. In starting off, I think it would be ideal to acknowledge that what we have heard from the chairman of the occasion, from the keynoter, which was so as beautiful as Dr. Nkiru herself, the keynote, and of course from the special guest of honor, who was quick to say that he was representing himself. You know, those three, what I think I could glean from what they have said is that yes, there might be challenges, yes, there might be issues, but then we appear to be on the right track and that the possibilities are endless. And so it is on that note that I think that we should very quickly, within the time that we have, connect the financial dots and to set the tone for the discussion for this panel. I think I will go straight to the bankers. Yemisi, I apologize that she'll be ladies first, but I'll come to you right after them. Dr. Ariyo, Dr. Famuyiwa, you are bankers. I love the way that your CV is read, but we're talking finance, we're talking First Bank, and we're talking Providus. Two things here will be to first address two of the issues that were directed at bankers. I think it was Duke of Shomolu, Joseph Edgar, as you know him, that said, no, don't go to banks. I saw that my dad, I tried to correct it. Don't deal with bankers, even though he was an investment banker at some point. Is that correct? Is that a myth, or is it the reality when they say, don't go there, try and raise your money by yourself? Even though if you drill down correctly, you see that possibly 65% of the funding and sponsorship that Joseph Edgar himself is using comes from the banks before we talk government. And then the other part will be to know what your banks have done specifically for the industry. For First Bank, I know, of course, of the First Arts initiative, and for Providus, we can't mention your bank without looking at what you've done for World Poetry Day, for Professor Wole Soyinka, for the Hive, you know, different things like that. Talk to us about why people think that in this age, your sector is still struggling to understand the creative economy. Over to you, sirs. Yes, please, Dr. Ariyo.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And first, I would like to thank the entire creative participant around the visibility they've given to the country. We cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much from Providus Bank. So flowing from there, I will start by saying, you know, truly an eye does not see itself except by reflection. So in a way, he might be right. And in another way, he might not be right. In traditional funding structure for projects, yes, it is difficult for banks to understand. But there's a model called structured trade or structured financing, whereby you have to understand with the participant. And thank you for the gentleman, though he did it pro bono. But the truth is that if we really understand the industry, the funding will be made possible. It happens in the metal industry. It happened in the export industry. So there is no exception to it happening in the creative industry. If we really understand the hand-holding portion, whereby all of us are carried along from stage to stage, I'm sure funding will be given. Now, this is the way I think we should look at it. I know we've been speaking a lot about patient capital, but I think it goes beyond that. Not only patient, let's look at efficient capital. Let's look at low-cost capital. Let's look at specific capital for a project. For instance, if Davido, for instance, sings in O2, it's very likely that the returning of that funds or whatever proceed he gets sits in O2 or perhaps is remitted from that space. So the bank's concern is two ways when we are lending: performance and payment. And then we have one mantra: never lose your capital. If we don't want to lose our capital, we will take one thing they call what will make the unwilling willing, and that is holding you to something. Now, if we are looking at not holding you to something, it means that definitely there must be some cushion effect, something to indemnify us in an unlikely event that there is a backflipping, or we call it a belly up nature of that funding. So what matters is the bank is actually also into business. There is responsibility to shareholders, and then things will have to be appropriate. But the truth is this: we are creating support from our space, from the poetry side, like he said, to the fact that we even open our lounges to the creative industry. You can have your small sector meetings in any of our lounge, in any of our branches. FOC, we're not going to take a dime. And this is open to the creative as well as any other industry. I was just, when I came in here, and I look at the number of participants, and I thought within myself that Ayorinde, which is the brand representative, we can as well hold this on our rooftop at free of charge for the entire creative industry. So it's something we can look at. The truth is that we are happy to fund. Part funding that we need to also look at is the bankability of whoever we are funding. Now, we need to create what can easily be seen in terms of data. Like I always call my brother, although he doesn't really know me, I call him Bodakunli when I look at him. I think we both school in Ilorin, but probably he's a big senior. But the truth is this: when I look at what they are doing and the capacity of funding we can give, it probably might be beyond me just giving you 10 million naira, 100 million naira, or they call the intervention for 5 billion. And in my mind, I look at it in dollars. How much is this for a market that is projected in 2030 to be $100 billion? So we need to really support the space in terms of what we can do. But what we do now is on case-by-case basis. So if you bring it on, we'll profile it and then provide the funding. Now we have funded about 4, but I can tell you it is a sweet and sour story. The payment has not been done.
When you say you funded 4, yeah, what are we talking about?
Okay, so we're looking at like 4 entities that were provided funding for, and it came to about 1.5 billion out of the funding structure. The pricing was...
Out of 5 billion?
Yes.
1.5
will go to 4 billion.
For entities.
But that 1.5 was not good, as we speak. So it is a true negative representation of what we intend. We're not saying that this is the representative or the representation of all, just like what Edgar was saying around the investment banking part. The truth is, it is a bumpy road for the bank. We need the bank to understand. Because what the bank will ask for, they probably will ask for some sort of collateral. But again, we can swing it and provide indemnity, some insurance cover, because it's more or less like I said, it's a bumpy ground that we really need to take care of while we're funding it. Thank you.
Dr. Ariyo, before you give the mic to Dr. Famakinwa, let's drill down a bit. These 4 entities that will get, I believe they will ultimately get it. Or they've gotten it?
They got it already. We disbursed.
Who are they? What sort of projects?
No, it's not for this forum.
Okay, so what sort of projects were able to pass through to get 1.5 billion?
Okay, so the process is, or the project is actually, I think, is film making. And like we said,
all the 4 are film?
Yeah, film making.
Okay.
And again, the thing is that I think the discussion we had around that, which again, I think it's more like a speculative arrangement. You know, it's just like somebody who thinks his song will be sweet and he ends up not getting, or what do you call it? You know, in all blue, you understand? So that's responsibility. But as far as the bank is concerned, it is your savings account, it's your current account that I'm deploying to lend money to someone else. So what matters right now is we look at it and say, perhaps the interest rate might not be okay, and we brought it down maybe 10 points lower from an average of 30 to like 20. But again, we still have this. So what I'm saying is this. We need the understanding around the projection. we cannot use all size fits all to lend in this particular sector. So, like creating a forum to sensitize banks, then the banks will also ventilate information around bankability. I think that handshake is necessary and is overdue. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ariyo. Dr. Famwewa, talk to us along the line of what he has said, but as it affects First Bank. I know that you have delved into the areas of infrastructure, Ebony Live, but then what does First at heart, what does it do, and how can it be accessed?
Thank you very much, and I'm so glad to be here. I've jotted so much notes. My notebook is almost full. Right from when the chairman started to Ikiru, and I was just writing and writing and writing. I think basically what I want to start with is that there's a major lacuna somewhere, and that's why I'm excited to be here. I'm the pioneer head of SME banking
at First Bank.
First Bank. Okay. And we started delving into this some few years back when we saw that, yes, as a bank, we touch a number of sectors, but we have generic products serving different sectors. So we started looking into different sectors. And interestingly, over a year ago, we went into this creative industry. I must admit personally, I never knew how big this industry was. And somebody mentioned it here that the figures thrown out there is underestimated, and I totally agree. When you look into the creative industry, we're looking at entertainment, media, beauty and lifestyle, hospitality, all these. By the time you break them down further, you take a deeper dive, you discover that you have so much to chew in each of these areas, not to talk of the value chain. For instance, in First Bank last year, we decided to take the bull by the horn, and we went into a decision at the senior level to try to look into the creative industry. Okay? We have not really arrived there, I must say, even though we're doing fine arts, but looking at what is happening now and what I've heard today, we're yet to scratch the surface. And for me, why I'm excited to be here is that I think the direction to go, and thanks to Mr. Ayoda for bringing this together, there's a lot the bank can actually do. But there's a challenge.
The little that you have done,
yes,
with the special interest that you developed, yes, last year.
Yes.
Are you able to quantify it? I'm aware, of course, of what you do in December. Something along,
yes,
the line of Dirty December.
Yes, exactly.
You pump a lot of money into concerts.
Exactly. So I would say, I'm actually coming there.
Okay.
What the bank or what we have been doing is more or less like sponsorship. Yeah. We need more than that for this industry. That's not the real meat. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying that attending this, my eyes are also beginning to open to some other areas. Under my department, for instance, in the bank, I deliberately decided to start a new unit, which is strategic partnership. Okay? To begin to look into these various sectors. And for me, I'm going to have a meeting with Mr. Ayorinde after this meeting to say, look, how is this creative industry structured? I'm telling you, most banks don't know. I'm being very honest with you.
So you are confirming what practically everybody has said.
Honestly, it's
but
like a myth.
The industry has been dealing with financial institutions and banks for decades.
Yes.
What is it that you are still struggling with to understand?
Very good. You know, as a bank, one of the things you need to realize is that you need to understand the business dynamics of any business that you want to go into. Even if you look into, for instance, recently, I got involved in the area of sports, all right? And I realized that even the sports industry is far from what a lot of people understand it to be. I'm making a report on it to say, look at, I've done some interesting studies, going to Morocco, going to some other areas, some climes. And you discover that even some nations that are not sporting nations, like UAE, they're making a lot of money from sports. And this is part of the creative industry. So by the time you look at the creative industry, there's so much we need to do. So there's need for us to sit down together.
Okay, so
have a strategic partnership with them. Once we have that strategic partnership, we understand the structure, we understand who to talk to, then we begin to do business.
Okay,
I'm sure we'll be able to break all the myths.
When I come back to you, of course, I'm sure that people will be interested in what is it that you want from them to get things done. But let's go to Yemisi before we come to government. Yemisi. Yemisi, I would like you to talk to us from two perspectives. But first, looking at what Dr. Nkiru said earlier, when she said something close to how many can deal with multi-million-dollar projects, and therefore our ecosystem will need smaller funding structures so that money can, permeate the industry. What has been your experience, first as a lawyer and a legal mind, representing projects, representing artists, and then secondly, your specific experience with the Temple company, seeking finance and making sure that the right lines are understood? Because it's a major thing when people say, oh, I got support from the bank, but I didn't realize that I was not going to make money, that they are going to come for me. What has been your own experience dealing with all those, strategic realities of seeking money coming, and then you having to repay?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Nyoda, for inviting me. It's indeed a great honor to be here. Secondly, it looks like I'm going to be the Duke of Shomolu of this panel. That's because, unfortunately, I missed the chairman's remark. I also missed, unfortunately, Doctor's keynote speech. I had another engagement, and unfortunately, I missed them. So I was hoping that you wouldn't ask me that question, but alas, we're here. Now, specifically, my experience regarding financing, particularly in the within the entertainment industry ecosystem. What I would say is this, what I've noticed is this. You don't, if you do your homework well, if you present yourself in a way where you are marketable, if you do what you have to do, it will be easy for you to have conversations with people. So I will use myself wrong as a lawyer to market myself with all sense of humility. I think I've done, not that I think, I know for sure that I've worked hard enough to make myself marketable without marketing myself. That, I think, is the issue we have within the entertainment industry. Davido, for instance, would not need to market himself. His work shows that he's marketable. His work shows that he's bankable. To a very large extent, we've kind of clocked it in the music industry. With due respect to the likes of Mr. Afolayan and the filmmakers in the room, I don't know how far, I don't know how well we have been able to achieve that within the film industry. If we make ourselves viable, make the industry viable, the two doctors from Providus Bank and First Bank will be the one chasing us. Not
you think the industry is not viable?
With all due respect, I'm not sure that we are there yet. If we were viable,
or that we've not presented, or the industry hasn't presented itself well as a viable industry?
Either way, you see, if we have not presented ourselves well, that means we have not completed our task of being viable. If we were viable, I don't think the likes of Netflix will work out on us. I don't think the likes of Prime will work out. They've given us
You're going into controversial territories, but
Okay,
I like
my
it. But I
My
like
bad.
it. Go on.
No. Maybe I should, because I don't want controversy.
Go on.
But I mean,
We like
I'm-
controversy.
Well-
It's okay.
So I mean, so my point basically is, we should. I mean, I've been on several projects where, you know, we had to raise funds in the film industry, also music as well. Apart from you know what the content you're creating, we haven't really been able to. We have not been able to. I'll go back to the word viable. We have not been. I don't think we've done enough to show that indeed this project will be bankable.
Let me say, before I come to Dr. Shaibu, the sort of money that you have attempted to raise, talking of the viability question that you have raised, how well have they performed? If you've gotten loans, did you repay? If you invested in project, did he make money? Talking viability.
Yes. Now,
Very quickly.
so I've done the music part, I've done the movie part. Again, I would say the music part,
What's better?
yes.
All right.
Kunle, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. All right. Dr. Shaibu Hussein, let's talk policy. Let's talk government. Providus, Dr. Ariyo said something about the 5 billion and 1.5 billion will be going into 4 projects, 4 entities. Has gone into all movies. The funding is talking about, is it the same as the Creative Economy Development Fund that your ministry, your supervising ministry is talking about? If it is not the same thing, talk to us about this your own fund, and how is it different from all the funding structures that the industry has enjoyed before? We both served, on the advisory panel of BOI. How is it different, and how will it be accessed? I'm asking you not just as a policy person, but also as a stakeholder in the industry and as a journalist who for close to, if not more than 30 years, was advocating for the endowment funds for the arts.
Thank you very much for the question, and good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, everyone. It's okay afternoon,
Good
everyone.
afternoon.
It's my pleasure to be here, and I want to thank Mighty for the invitation. The National Film and Video Censors Board is having a major media outreach in Enugu today. We usually take advantage of the August meeting gathering of our women from the Southeast to educate them on media consumption, especially as it concerns our families now. And that event is happening as I speak. But Mighty cannot invite you and you will not be there. Mighty is a brother, is a family, is everything. And so I told them to go, and I will be here so that I can be able to be part of this event. Right, to your question, and then, of course, I want to make a request. Mighty, please put Dr. Balon's paper on your website or something, and also the chairman's address, too. Is someone who is doing so much at the National Economic Summit Group, so we need to keep hearing, reading, and knowing. And I took a lot of notes, from both of them, and of course, even the SSA when he made his speech. And I want to specially recognize him for being here. All right, back to the question. I'm one person who believes that government just needs to create policies and create the enabling environment for the industry to thrive. I'm not one who believes that government should begin to give out handouts to creatives to make films or to make creative works. So even before I became executive director, I've been advocating for the fact that, we need to put down sustainable policies that are sustainable, policies that don't just come and when another government comes into office, they wipe the policy out. For instance, during the administration, and I'm talking about the difference between those funding schemes and this one now. During the administration of President Jonathan, he gave something they call, what they call it, Project Nollywood. That was basically a grant to filmmakers to make films and all that. And we quarreled with that grant, and that's because we felt that there should have been a monitoring structure, something that can make that grant sustainable. But there was nothing on ground that kept that fund going. So when another administration came, there was even no funding for the whole 8 years of that administration from government. But here is a government who believes that apart from creating a full ministry, as the SSA has said, that there is a need for us to provide certain funding for the industry. But the difference between that one and this one is that this one is part grant and part funding, a funding mechanism that you must pay back. You must give us, you must show that you can be able to pay back. And why are you paying back? Is because
the CEDF. The
CEDF, Creative
okay.
Industry Development Fund, which is a product of this.
How much is in the kitty?
$100 million
USD.
for the first tranche, and then there's another $100 million for the second tranche.
Where's the money coming from?
From Afrexim.
Afrexim.
Okay. Yes, from Afrexim. And then you are supposed to apply for them, and then you are supposed to make sure that you have bankable projects, because we just keep, I think Doctor mentioned something about bankable projects. But you just find out that, and the thing is ongoing, applications have closed for the first tranche. Applications have just opened, I think it will open on the 14th, next tomorrow, for the second tranche. They will start assessing the first tranche by the first quarter of 2025. And then they assess the second, 2026. And then they will assess the second tranche for the second quarter of 2026. The difference with this one is that it is more of building infrastructure for the industry. It is not for you to make, you can make films, maybe like 10 or 20% of the funding will go into filmmaking. But it is more about building infrastructure, distribution infrastructure, because whether you like it or not, we have problem with distribution infrastructure in the country. It is also about building studios, production infrastructure in the country. We don't have production lots. We don't have, even sound stages, we don't have in this country. Only few people make efforts, personal effort that is, people like Kunle Afolayan and the rest of them, make personal efforts to do this. So this fund is for the provision of infrastructure for the industry, and it is not a grant. A lot of people think it's a grant. Is there
a grant component?
Yes, there's a grant component, but it's just about 10 to 20%.
Okay, my question on that will be, given your trajectory in the industry, why is that component of the money, the funding, why is it not able to kickstart the endowment funds that your industry has consistently prayed for more than 20, if not 30, Auntie Joke, am I right? If not more than, 30 years.
More than 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay, there's plan to set up the endowment fund.
That's a plan.
There's a plan, and that's because the endowment fund that we're talking about is not something that the ministry can handle. It's a thing that Federal Executive Council have to pass, so that it can be sustainable, so that whether any government comes in tomorrow, next tomorrow, or whatever, that fund will be there. So
it won't happen in the first term of the minister.
No, it will happen, because presently now she's presenting the National Endowment Fund to federal government, and that one will be fully funded by government, especially with tax returns from entertainment tax returns and so many other returns. It will be funded by the tax returns from the entertainment industry.
Okay.
So she has to take it to the National Federal Executive Council for it to be passed, so that it can become a policy, so that it can become an institution that it will continue to stay. Not that when you just say, okay, we set up a National Endowment Fund, and then another government comes into power after the second term, and then they will now say, after the second term of this administration, and then they will now say that, no, this is rubbish, he has to go. This cannot work.
Professor Shaibu, let's go back to the bankers. Dr. Famuyiwa, where is the money and how can stakeholders approach you, not just for content, because that's also part of what Dr. Nkiru said, not just for content, but also for enduring infrastructure? What are the things that you'll be looking for? Not just if a Kunle Afolayan, I mean, there are creatives here. Alexo is here, for example. What sort of projects will appeal to your bank and First at Heart, for example, if you have to consider supporting the industry?
Thank you very much. I also want to say that this is a new dawn. And I'm saying this because last year, when we started looking into this, we got it right with some sectors like those who are into markets. We were able to disburse about 100 billion to them last year.
Those who are where?
Into the traders.
Oh, okay.
Because we focused on them. And last year,
what sort of loans were those?
Just non-collateralized.
Okay.
No collateral, just give you money, do your business, because we studied and understood the dynamics of their business. Now, somebody mentioned about producing a film. What if you produce and it didn't sell? To me, honestly speaking, if I look at an industry that we are yet to tap, this is it.
Is the next oil?
I'm telling you the honest truth. And if there's an industry that is giving Nigerians joy, happiness all over the globe, this is the industry.
Okay.
Take this one out, honestly, I don't know what will happen to this nation. So for me as a bank, before I came here, my intention definitely is to come here to learn, listen more, partner with the right people, and then take a deeper dive to understand this business. I am willing to lend to this industry. I'm making this commitment, and I work with Mr. Iyoda to make sure that we can come together and go into partnership to really understand this business very well. For First Bank, we are willing and ready to invest in this business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Ariyo, 1.5 billion, am I correct, gone to film. But then I think earlier somebody tried to dimension what creative industry means. Sir, it is not just about film. It is not only Nollywood. Music is there, fashion is there, books, visual arts, digital, media is there, photography is there. Why are you not giving them money? Why is it only Nollywood?
All right, thank you very much, sir. For those who know Providus quite well, we can be called the octopus of the banking industry. And I have the reason for that. We support all the creative arm as far as funding and support is concerned. Even when the water looks murky, we try as much as possible to dip one toe and test it and see if we will sink or not. But essentially, to go deep into what you have said, the 5 billion we're talking about is not even a grant. It's actually a fund allocated by my bank for this particular industry. But the truth is this.
For the creative industry.
For the creative industry. So we are not limited to the filmmakers alone. Yoruba, only any yara logun gbe. In other words, is the person that comes first, that I'm going to oblige first. And I will speak.
How is that said in English? The race is for the swift or something like that?
I think something close to that.
Nollywood is swift on
that
his legs.
That will not touch on it the way I would like it to. I probably will leave it to you guys. You do more interpretation. But the truth is this. We are happy to fund, but I think I will also lend an advice. Providus Bank, for instance, I champion it. They call it the non-oil export platform. And then what I see is the fact that there is absence of the creative industry when we want to do this. I see more of the people in the agri space fighting for that space. So at a point I dragged into it the current Olori who is into fashion, Oni of Ife's Olori, and she did quite well to project fashion. Then beyond that, I think the music industry is a place we have not really touched on. We spoke about sport, and I look at the way we always watch boxing in Saudi Arabia, and we don't do anything about it in Nigeria. This is the industry we can touch on. And the conversation also dovetailed to the fact that is the creative industry registered with NEPC, Nigeria Export Promotion Council? If yes, how much participation do we do with NEPC? So there is a need for us to also be present in different dimensions of the economy. We should be seen. We should be obvious. If I mention cocoa traders today, and I said there is a funding for them, and absolutely, let's even face it, I won't allocate 5 billion for cocoa traders in Nigeria. A ton of cocoa today is about 14 million naira. So if you are buying 5,000 metric tons of cocoa, it's probably way, way, way more than 5 billion. So again, if we gather ourselves together, give numbers to it. Our business is a business of numbers. I cannot assume figures. I cannot assume projection. It is what you tell me that you are making that will actually allow me to fund the project. Let's assume I'm funding today. My savings and current account cost, or let's say savings account cost can be 8%. But again, the country has an MPR, monetary policy rate of 27%. If you want to place money in the bank today, you are not going to take 8% from me. So I also have fiduciary responsibility to bring money back to the investors. So if I create a niche and make it a cheaper portfolio for the creative industry, let's say I even make it a single digit. I can go to BOI. I can go to Afrexim Bank. I can go to IFC, raise specific funding. But I need to let you give me specific information around this funding. I probably might not know how many days they will sit in my brother's studio in cinema to create it. Perhaps if I go with him, maybe to say now, and see how that place is, I will ask, how many days left in film here? He tells me, oh, so it takes this long. It takes 2 years to produce. That means he doesn't need a 6-month money. He needs perhaps 4 years money before he sells. And again, another concern will be if he sells outside the country, what channel does he use to repatriate his funds to the country? Yes, because the concern of the bank is I need to also assign the proceeds of that payment to myself to be able to repay. So it is not Red Cross. It is a business, and we have to come together to get it done. Thank you.
All right. It is not Red Cross, it is a business. Yemisi, you got that point. It is not Red Cross, it is a business. I'm not asking you to respond to that or to respond to what Dr. Nkiru said earlier about turning creativity into economic powerhouse. With the sort of funding that is coming from both government and banks and the private sector, do you think that we're getting enough to galvanize the industry? I think I can see the special advisor to the Lagos State Governor of Media somewhere. Last year, I'm referencing him because last year, the ministry, Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture alone, I'm not talking of other states, I'm not talking of federal, declared that more than 8 billion, am I correct, Boyega, went into the industry in form of support here and there in 2024. Do you think that that's something that the industry can latch on so that the idea, the story around sustainability and viability can begin to, germinate? What are your thoughts and assessments?
So I was telling him, when I think it was Dr. Shaibu that mentioned $100 million or so being available for creatives.
From Afrexim Bank.
From Afrexim Bank. And I whispered to him and said, all I hear is the figures. I don't see.
Where's the money?
I don't want to be. I can't not see the figures. So.
Dr. Shaibu, somebody whispered audio money. I think you should engage.
I will engage. Okay. I will engage later, but okay. It's a fund that will be assessed from next year. It's not been assessed now. The application for the first quarter for the first tranche just closed. And the assessment, it has been announced publicly that the assessment will be in the first quarter of next year. And I assure you that this is not audio money. This will be assessed, but it will be assessed for projects that are sustainable. They are not, it's not really about productions. It's about putting down distribution infrastructure, production infrastructure, and putting up stuffs that will help the, to help the industry, you know, not that it's audio money. No, I can assure you, this is not audio money.
So Yemisi, what are the steps that you think the industry should begin to consider and take so that we can get on the right track?
So for me, it still goes back to my initial point of being, putting ourselves in that sellable corner where, you know, the likes of the two docs from Providus Bank and First Bank will not tell us to come and meet them, to have a conversation with them. Their marketers go out to get people to, you know, get loans, open banks and all, open bank accounts with them and all of that. We need to put ourselves in a position where these guys will come to us. They will come to Kunle Falaye and say to him, what are you doing at the film village in Oyo State? How can we be part of it? Do you want us to partner with you? Do you want us to lend you money? Whatever it is.
You think the best approach would be for financial institutions to approach individuals doing well, or to approach the industry?
The industry at large, not individuals. But then we need, I will keep going back to it. We need to be sellable. We need to be approachable. We need to have something we need to make intellectual property very attractive. These folks are used to tangible assets. They are used to tangible collateral. We need to be able to change their mindset from making intellectual property less attractive as a collateral to being a major big deal, because it's actually a major big deal. Imagine, I'll give one example. Funke Akindele's Jennifer. That's a major intellectual property. That's a major asset. The woman has worked very hard to make it a big deal. If she goes to First Bank or Providus Bank and says, I need a loan centered around Jennifer, I don't think she will struggle to get that fund.
I think First Bank is in bed with Funke, so
exactly,
isn't it? You know,
exactly.
Doing good, doing well. All right.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Yemisi. Dr. Shaibu, you will have to wait because I don't want Yemi to come running to us. So let's throw it to the before your final closing remarks, which you will start. Let's throw it to the audience, and I will not allow Yemi to dictate the pace. We will pick two from here, or do I see three hands, and then two from there. Ife, we'll start with you, and yes, and the other gentleman. Okay.
The gentleman in the glasses. Yes, but he has his hand up first. So let's do according to how you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for sharing gems with us. My question is to the bankers, and let me just read it out to be brief. So my name is Babatunde Lawal. We talk about films and other creative outputs.
What do you do?
I'm a filmmaker and creative entrepreneur. So we talk about films and other creative outputs when we talk about the industry. What are the provisions for bodies who would help put the heavily needed structures in place for the industry? For example, like the film tech industries. That model is as much that corporate business model and not unpredictable like the film industry. Dr. Ariyo, for example, do these industries or entities have access to the 5 billion naira fund? If you don't understand the sector, why not fund parastatals that enable the understanding?
Thank you. I should respond to that. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your question. If I understand you correctly, you are talking about the distributaries from the main creative, maybe the support part for the creative industry. The truth is, A bank can fund any business at all. So far is a legitimate and within the aspiration of national growth and development, the bank can fund it. So there is no business at all that cannot be funded, just like I said. The advantage for being in the creative industry is just the fact that the type of capital we are deploying, the ease of access of the capital, the sufficiency of the capital, the cost of the capital will be the advantage of being part of the group. So as far as support is concerned, I can tell you for certain, Providus Bank for once, and don't forget, I'm also speaking for my boss. I work in First Bank for 12 years. So technically, all the banking industry will be able to provide the support that is required. And for certain, before I leave, I'll drop my card with you so that you will testify next year. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ifeoma Morugbe. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I seek to establish a connection between Yemisi's position and that of Dr. Shaibu. So I think the critical issue these types of forums should actually attack frontally is, where are the gaps? Where are the holes? There's a lot of money being left on the table. How do we, as an ecosystem, how do we unlock those funding? Because my boss here, Mahmoud Ali Balogun, made a very interesting comment about an hour ago that we've been having these conversations for more than a decade. Every time you sit with the bankers, they tell you they don't understand the industry. When they leave, they do not engage in practical ways that can help them better understand the industry. But I think I think so. So the thing is this: one big mistake we make every time we engage the creative industry, we talk Davido, you hear Funke Akindele. All of this is valid, but that's not the industry. The industry is not about the 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 figures that are doing very well. It's an entire ecosystem. So where are the key challenges? What are the income streams, for example, for a C-class artist, a D-class artist? Where's the funding if the bank deploy funding beyond streaming, for example, how much did the average C-class artist make last year from touring? Where's the touring infrastructure? If they release $100 million and we make films, where are the distribution channels? For the music, where's the money coming from? Collective management. The radio, the TV stations that deploy, this stuff commercially, where is the royalties that are derived from the commercial use of all of this? So the answers are within, the approach it should be about the structure and building capacity within the industry to ensure that when the banker puts ₦1 million, there are 4, 5, 6 active income streams that can enable everybody make that money back. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Lagos State. Just a quick one. Lagos State. So that they can take it together. Lagos State, yes.
Who is Lagos State, sir? His question has already, what he wants to emphasize has already been answered.
Who? Where you got?
So that's why he wanted to talk. Okay, no way. So why will he be like as if he's begging to talk?
Okay, Yemi, it's fine.
I thought I saw your hand up, Boyega. It's fine. That's cool.
Mr. Koshile, I insist to hear from you, sir. Please, sir. We want to
Mr.
hear from
Koshile,
you.
a lady is
Thank
asking you to say a word.
Please, sir, we want to hear from you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So that it doesn't end in on the tarmac. Sorry. Yeah, so that we don't have a we've been told to calm ourselves down. Thank you very much, and sorry about that. Well, I actually raised my hands because of what Dr. Shaibu said, a passing comment by someone that said audio money. I come from journalism background, and I'm still a journalist. I was telling my friend, my colleague here, that my experience in governance, I consider it as schooling, like I'm in another university, because some of the things that I've learned now, there is no way I would have learned them if I had not gone into governance, and that I'm taking the lesson to my next life, right? So, this money is actually real, right?
Which one? Which money?
The money being pledged by different organizations, whether Afri-Exim, the federal government, but it's only the smart ones that get this money. For instance, in Lagos State, that one I know very well. And I know those who know that I know them here, that have accessed the money. You understand? Just last year, the Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Steve Ayorinde, because we talk about this. Just last year, we spent over 8 billion naira. This money didn't come into my pocket. It went into the pockets of various people in the creative industry. Some of them I know. So, I don't need to name names. And so when you go out there, unfortunately, these people will not tell the world that I collected this money from the state government. And because government doesn't communicate enough, you understand? You can't begin to say, oh, Mr. A, Mr. B, did this. But there are some specific ones that are tied to government that we try to push out. Those ones, may have government faces. But there are a lot of them. From the Nollywood, I'm talking about the Yoruba, the English, Nollywood, and the music industry, up to the Dirty December, up to fashion, even live theater. I know that the live theater, that I personally facilitated, that got part of the fund last year. And it's not small money. So it's very important that we do not deride things, being put forward by the government. It's better for us as creative, because I'm a creative person. And I know that my next life is just around the corner. I'm doing my winding down anyway. So we need to approach them. If we now approach them and they reject us, well, it's a different story entirely. But that the money is not real, it's actually real. Anything that is called appropriation and is been appropriated by the government, the money is locked somewhere. So we must put ourselves together. I was telling her, I said, another thing that we fail to do is, I want to be the only one. Why can't I work with Efe Omoregbe? Because he's a master in this business. I know how to access. He is a creative. I have the idea. He can, so let's, learn to do that. We can leverage on numbers. And by the way, another secret, government respects numbers. You understand? Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Guega. You referenced tarmac. Okay, may I just say that tarmac is also part of the hospitality industry. And, beautiful things can come out of the tarmac. Auntie Joke, before we go to this side. All right. Before we go to the SSA, Auntie Joke, no? All right. We'll go to this side and then we'll come to the SSA. Comrade Alex Oyengo.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks, Steve, for this session. My name is Alex Oyengo, Abiwari boy. Let me start by saying I adopt everything Ife Omorige said as though they were mine. One underlining thing, both in the first session and this one, is the issue of structure and the banks, with us. By next year, I will be 3 decades in this industry. I haven't joined in 1996. We've had this sort of session, engagement with banks, like if he said, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you keep saying you don't understand the structure. When una go understand them? You are bankers. If you really want to understand the industry, assuming without conceding that you do not understand, you are bankers. You have first class in statistics, Ibadan. So you know what to do. Engage a consultant. You can even engage consultants from the industry, like Mahmoud Ali Balogun, Fidelis Duka. They will guide you. I suspect very strongly that you understand the industry more than we do. But you just don't want to put money yet. I don't know why. On the issue of structure, there are 2 legs to structures in the industry. This because you need to be continually informed, educated, and even entertained. There are 2 legs to structures in Nollywood. The individual structures. That's the various companies. Maybe companies like the one owned by Kunle Afolayan, Mahmoud Ali Balogun, Fidelis. You understand? It is their personal responsibilities as producer to get properly structured, which most of them are doing. The second structure is the industry, which you, the bankers, are not relating with, the guilds and associations for now. That is the industry. That is the structure. That is, I'm not saying you do business, association will not come and collect loan, maybe, but in terms of advocacy, capacity building, information and education, it is the guilds and association that you must and you should engage. And they can also stand as a way of guarantor that, okay, we know this person is our member. You understand? So you must begin to work with the guilds and association. There are so many of them now, I must confess, but I know we are working towards a destination which is the Motion Picture Council of Nigeria, MOPICON.
We won't go there today.
By that time, I say we are working towards it. When we get to that destination, I believe when we get to MOPICON destination, banks, you will no longer have that excuse that I've been hearing 30 years ago, 20 years ago, that you don't understand the industry. Okay. Then you will understand better.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, comrades.
So please, can I implore you, sir, to please, 1 minute. I can count. Thank you.
I want to differ with everybody so far. Structure. My name is Fidelis Duka. I'm just a common filmmaker, just trying to survive. And a broadcaster. Everybody has said structure, and I differ. There are structures in the industry. The problem is infrastructure, and that was what, when I was coming here, I missed all the sessions, but I followed it through. Why? Tech. I was online, and I listened to Dr. Belong, to Dr. Ufort. I listened to everybody on the first panel. The challenge, and if you listen to Kunle Afolayan, it started and stopped somewhere. The issue of infrastructure. And that's why you will compare Davido and film. Music, I can listen to my music 100 times in my car without even the basic power. We have a challenge of power, we have a challenge of roads, we have a challenge of even when the so-called Netflix left, they didn't leave. They only remodeled their business because they were not making profit. This is a country that has 250 million people. Less than 165,000 are subscribed to Netflix. While in South Africa, with a lesser population, they have over 2.5 million on that platform. Why invest in a place where less than 165,000 people are subscribed? These are the issues. The banks, to you, Mr. Banker, the bankers, like he said, you guys understand this. As far back as 2007, the banks were funding. As far back as 1986, Basala was funded. So the banks understand what's happening. The issue, we must solve our national issue first. That's why I commend the government now. They are very concerned about the power sector. Until the power sector works, even if you build 200 cinemas and there's no light, will you power with diesel? Go and ask the cinemas how much they are paying to run those cinemas. 2 people in the cinema and it's an empty cinema, you have to power the place 24 hours. Even us in broadcasting, we run a radio show for 24 hours and we have no light, we have no adverts. Why? Because you are running on diesel. So we must solve our national problem first. When we solve those problems, these billions and trillions we're looking for will come to play. The countries you mentioned South Korea in our presentation. South Korea has 100% power. I went to China last year. It was an eye-opener for me in China. I took a trip from like Lagos to Kano, and it took me 4 hours on the bullet train. And I came back same day. These are issues. We need to solve our infrastructural problem. It's not even a structure problem. This issue of structure is an excuse to just hide. We need to solve that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So very quickly, SSA to the president. We'll have the last mic there.
And apologies to those who need to go. Like I said, I take the blame.
On the issue of funding and what our dear sister said, and the side comment about audio money from government, I want to reinforce what Boyega said. Truly, the funding from government is not audio money, especially from federal government. Dr. Shaibu spoke about the $100 million from Afrexim Bank. There's another $600 million, IDICE, which is investment in digital and creative enterprise. That the process of assessing that fund started in the last 2 years of Buhari administration, and it was midwifed by Professor, Office of the Vice President then, Professor Osibajo. Now, because they are multilateral and development institutions funding, the process of assessing this money in terms of meeting their conditions could take some time. The $600 million from IDAS fund is coming from Islamic Development Bank, AFDB, French International Development Agency. So from those 3 institutions, they are putting together $600 million. I know as of today, the federal government has signed the sovereign guarantee to make sure that the money gets in country. And as of today, because I spoke with the national coordinator of IDICE just this morning on my way to this event to know how far, because I always push him, where are we with this funding? The industry people are saying they cannot see the money. And he gave me all the details. As of today, AFDB has approved like 10 projects from the fund. $300 million of the component is coming from AFDB. Islamic Development Bank is bringing $100 million. French International Development Agency is bringing $100 million. Then Bank of Industry is bringing $100 million. So that makes the 600 million. Okay. So as of today, I know they are waiting for a no objection from AFDB on the about 10 projects that AFDB Board of Governors had approved. Okay. So this thing takes time, and they are not audio money. From first quarter next year, you begin to see the money. And those who are prepared for the opportunities will be able to access. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tokwe Ajayi, SSA to the president. It says it is not audio, it is renewed hope. So we really have to go, but Dr. Dr. Ariyo, we just have 10 seconds to speak for the panel while we round off everything. I promise, Dr. Shaibu.
All right, thank you so very much. Just a bit of peeping into a few comments that I have around infrastructure. Infrastructure common denominator for all of us in the country. Unfortunately, as it affects me, it affects every other person. But again, we cannot also shy away from that fact. And the fact remains that as a bank, we are happy and also ready to provide support for this entity. And also, the good part is, please, with or without sponsorship, I think each girl should invite banks to, even if it is a cocktail discussion you want to have. Understanding anything in life is a journey. You remember our knowledge of physics those days, understanding basic physics. It's a concern. The policies change, the movement change. So we'll also want to change with you. But again, you have our support from all the sides. Funding or funding support will provide as far as the banking sector is concerned. Thank you and have a good one.
Okay, mine will be to take from what our keynoter had said. She made a proposition there, and I think Edgar said something about that, and a few people on the panel said something about that, and that's the fact that as creatives, we lack what it takes to access monies from these guys. We need to have a special purpose mechanism, vehicle, that can be the go-between us and the financial industry. You can't be making film. For instance, I don't know how he has the energy to do it. You can't be shooting at Igbejai, and then you are meeting up with a bank manager to talk about financing, you know? But if you have an investment, like, I don't know what to call it, whether, like we have legal practitioners who are between them and artists. If you have people who are film financing experts, if we have those kind of people, there can be an interface between us and the industry. The reason why they will give us money and they are struggling to get it back is because we want to do it and we don't have the capacity to do it. I'm aware of the funds from Providus Bank because it was one that I thought would help my industry. But like you said, it's sweet and sour, and that's because the man who is accessing the money does not have financial management capability. He just knows how to make production. His own is, I see the money, I give it to here, I give it to here, and I do that, and all that. And we need that vehicle, please. Let's set up that structure. People can come in, we build capacity, and have film financing experts so that they can help us raise the money, and they will be in charge of taking care of the risk that is involved in the money. Thank you so much.
All right, and on that note, First Bank too.
Last comment from me.
Okay, please make it very short.
Yes,
very
actually
short.
very short. Thank you, Mr. Yoda, for this gathering. We have spoken. It's time for action. We are ready. Are you ready? We are ready. Thank you.
All right, I'm sure Yemisi has blown a kiss just to say everything is fine. Fantastic.